Good evening, Geek Nation. Welcome to the one and only Geek Show, the show where we talk about the latest and greatest from the world of collecting, movies, video game, TV, and tech. With me breaking this all down is my brother from another mother, Calvin, the Statue Fanatic. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? How you guys doing?
I got it right this time.
You did. You got it right this time. Doing well, man. Glad to be here. It's going to be an exciting show.
Good show. All right. And we got the Messiah of Friday nights in the house. What is up, Seth? How are you?
What's poppin', everybody? It is me, your Messiah of Friday nights, here gracing you with my presence, so bask in my glory.
Oh, my God.
What is going on, everybody? What, Calvin?
No, you're going to have to come up with something other than what's popping now, man, with this Hot Toys. I'm just saying. But anyway, we're not done with the announcements. We'll continue.
We'll keep going. Let's roll, George.
All right, the Connoisseur Comics is here. What's up, Chad?
Yo, what is going on, everybody? And what is going?
Man, we just lost him.
I lost you.
We lost Chad.
Chad. It wouldn't be a show, man.
Wouldn't be the show without
a show without at least one.
He'll be back. Anyway, and if you all don't know, I'm Tony Stank, also known as the Mandalorian, the ringleader of these geeks, here to bring you that Geek Show. With the special guest today, we got my man Dominic Pace, who plays Gekko on The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian! I love this show. Right? What is up, Dominic? Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello to all your listeners. Happy to be here.
Dude, man, I am super pumped to have you on the show. I'm a huge fan of this TV show, dude. You have no idea. I'm like, Mandalorian. I run around all day long hunting. I got a bounty hunt show.
I mean, you can even see his background is like basically like the Death Star.
The worst part of COVID was him not being able to go to Disney to what is it, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, man. I literally cried when I couldn't go back. So before we get started, we do a roll call. So Seth, why don't you go ahead and do that? Let us know how many people in the chat.
Absolutely. We've got 49 people in the chat right now. Obviously, it'll take a few minutes for it to heat up. It'll be muy caliente. We've got 27 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down.
There it is.
You one thumbs down. You got nothing better to do on a Friday night, do you? So we got Big D in the chat. We got Danny Dolphin. We got Danny Dolphin. We got Jay Funko. We got the Troll Patrol. We got Edwin Diaz. We got GeoForce Racing 20. We got Ryder. We got our man Craig. Half-fast reviews. If you're not doing it half-fast, you ain't doing it right. We got Big D. We got Richard Melendez. We've got Thornton Applebaum. We've got CMD Geek. We got the Troll Patrol. We got Ronaldo. We got the Collector Zone. So for you guys that don't know, if you like joining anything that you guys see collectible-wise, make sure you check out the Collector Zone and use the code MCE checkout to get 5% off your first purchase.
Damn, you got that in good. That was good. That was really good, Seth. That was good.
He does it right off the cuff, too.
I know, right? That was good.
I'm all about that life, guys. We've got... Oh, I can't even see this. My screen got screwed small all of a sudden. We got Jason. We got a Big Or. We got Dominique, if I can see that correctly. My apologies. We got Statue Collecting. We've got Paul Rip. We've got Hugo Cordasso. We got Ride Every Day. We got our man Dominic. OG Geek is in the chat.
Nice.
Oh, what's up, man?
Great guy, amazing guy.
The best guy. We've got Vob Great. Let's see who else we got while we're scrolling through. And we got Mr. Iron Nugget and Outlaw Pete and Team Mitchell. And the list just keeps going. I can't keep up.
All right.
Chad,
you doing okay?
Am I working this time?
Yeah, you're working. Yeah,
bro.
man.
I don't know what the hell's going on in here. But for all the 90 holics in the chat, YouTube is 90. That took way too goddamn long. I'm sorry about that, guys.
All right, man. All right. As long as you're back, bro.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm good. I'm ready to do this. Talk
some Star Wars today, bro.
Star Wars.
That's you and George today, man.
I know.
George.
Look, I was born during that time, and I'm gonna get schooled by you guys. I mean, I actually saw the original in the theater, and I know you guys are gonna school me. So,
so Dominic, man, you're living the dream, dude. What is it like to be on a Star Wars set, man?
Oh my God.
It's been a dream come true, and obviously it's it's hard not to get a little greedy right now with just wanting the icing on the cake for all the collectors, which is getting that Funko Pop. I pitched Hasbro, and we've talked to Marvel. Marvel's been really excited, the Star Wars Bounty Hunter series. But right now, Funko has a weird situation. I'd love to get your guys' advice. Where the minimum purchase, I mean, if I were to have it exclusive, I guess it might be worth it. But the minimum purchase might be 30,000 Gekko pieces. So the issue is that I was hopeful that they were going to, make him. And I'm confident that if we get that green light to make him, that they're going to approve it maybe at that number. But the concern is just to be like Brewster's Millions. I don't know if you remember that old Richard Pryor movie of $30 million. But I know there's a lot of great fans out there. I know that would support me. But to move 30,000 signed Gekko pieces, I think I may die trying. But that's where we're at right now. It was a dream come true. But obviously, I think any fan would agree, especially with the Star Wars collectors, that you want that icing on the cake. The fans have been amazing in terms of making custom Black Series, 3.75 vintage, mini Lego figures, a guy over Big Kid Bricks who's done an amazing job of Gekko. But we want it official, and we want to make sure that we do that tour in 2021. I had such a great time on my first national tour, hitting down there in Florida with you guys. But we're heading out again just to get a little bit more of that campaign going, and hopefully Funko will work with us, maybe a little less than 30,000 pieces there.
All right.
I mean, honestly, Dominic, I got to agree with you. I mean, they should work with you. There is a huge fan base for Funko, and there is also a huge fan base for Star Wars. So when you combine the two, it's an instant success. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't help, produce those pops for you. I mean, it would be a great draw, especially when you're going cross country from store to store to store, and you're bringing that along with you as one of your, as one of the products you offer.
Yeah, without question. I mean, and even where it stands right now, it would be a $150,000 investment. And to be honest with you, I mean, my wife and I, we're not really balking at it too much because I feel you. I think that the Funko base plus Star Wars, you got to have it one of those, rare figures. I think if we sold 4,000, I think we'd be able to clear a profit. So we're hopeful. We're waiting to hear back from them this week. They obviously have bigger fish to fry right now due to COVID and all the other merchandise that they're moving. But they definitely know of our presence. Let's put it that way. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for the entire fan base. And most importantly, all the small businesses. And I was so happy I was able to give back throughout the country. And we're going to do it again one more time here from September 9th to October 6th.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome. Super sick.
I love following your stories on Instagram with all the people that you came across. You became an honorary member of the 501st Legion.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, even before Star Wars, the greatest thing for me is to try to help others to give back. I come from East Coast roots. I had a beautiful cultural diversity to where we were very grounded. This is not a foo-foo occupation. Even getting the job of Gekko was a second team job. I take everything I can. So always grounded. Please come punch me in the face if I ever get too foo-foo out here. I'm so grateful to be working, and hopefully we'll continue to pay it forward throughout our career there.
How did that go about getting the role of Gekko? I mean, did you know that you were? They tell you, hey, come, audition for a Star Wars TV show, or did they, there's like the vague? How did that all come about?
So I have a pretty solid agent, and I've been fortunate to work often on television, guest stars, co-stars, even starring roles in some of the higher channels, Oxygen Network, Lifetime Network, Sci-Fi Channel. But what ended up happening was I told my agents, because they're like, dude, once you get guest stars or recurring, I was recurring on Superstore, you have to stay at that level. It's like your value. If you keep your value of your store at a certain level, you can't drop down and say, okay, I'm going to sell this toy for $3 now to somebody else. Well, for me, it's just about the love of working. So my agents have always been kind of conflicted with that because they say, well, we're not able to bring your rate up if you just take everything you can. But that's just been my East Coast mentality, being a blue collar actor, for my roots and such. So it was just a simple makeup test from a second team casting director where I had previous experience. I doubled Frankenstein on Ben Helsing, opposite Hugh Jackman for Shuler Hensley, and that was back in 2002. I also was with Bright, with Will Smith on Bright. I was one of the orcs. And then also I had prosthetic experience on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's not the greatest talent in the world, but at the same time, they want somebody humble. They want somebody patient and somebody obviously with a good attitude who's professional. So what was great about that was they had 25 creatures. They did not tell me what the project was. I got called on to a set 2 weeks later, which was called Huckleberry. But the production offices was away from the sets. So I had no idea until all of a sudden I see this contract that said Lucasfilm. And that's where I started going numb because you know, I've been in the business for 20 plus years, but just like you guys, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan. I mean, I'm freaking out right now because my wife's going to kill me. I just bought Yak Face and a Monomon from catching the bug from being in so many stores. Being on set and having the entire experience just to film, to pick my own blaster as a bounty hunter, and most importantly, to be able to brand this character and really bring him to life with the help of so many illustrators and so much of the fan base over the past year. So it's been an absolute dream come true. Very humbled in that the entire fan base has supported my family for the entire year. And like I said, I just can't tell you how grateful I am for to the production and also the fan base for the opportunity.
Awesome.
I mean, so you're saying Yak Face. So you're a vintage collector. You collect the 3 3/4 figures.
Yeah. So what happened is I went back because I just caught that bug. I was in so many different comic book stores throughout the country, and I had all the original 75 or 76. The thing is, I don't have some of the capes or the blasters, so I've been going back, even if they're replicas, and buying those. But that last 17, it was like Pee Wee Herman at the end of Pee-wee's Last Adventure. What was it? Pee-wee's Big Adventure, to where he keeps going back and looking at the snakes as to whether he should get them or not. Literally, like every store, I swept up. You know, I did really well. And all of a sudden, I'd be looking there. I was like $200, and it's that one little line that every collector gets, where it's like, oh, it's too much, you know. Or I'm in Vegas, where like you're gonna put 1,000 down on black, but you're also at the same time like, God damn, am I doing this really? So it was one of those things. But yeah, now I've caught the bug. I bought Barada first. I got one of the Ewoks, and then I started bidding on eBay. I think I paid a little too high for Yak Face, but I got both the Monomon, Yak Face, and now I'm all in. So little by little,
that's awesome.
That'll be birthday and Christmas presents, and every time we get a big residual, I'll invest in another one of the last 17 there.
That's awesome. I got a question. Like, as a Star Wars fan, did you like have that surreal moment on the set where you were just like, okay, can you recall what that moment was? Or?
Yeah, it was two things going on at the same time. First day, I mean, my first playset was a Cantina playset. It was that old Cantina playset a lot of you guys
Boy, I
have.
remember that.
Yeah.
So I'm walking into the Cantina playset, and I'm literally to my left. As I'm going on, I got 3 people touching me up because the makeup's all over the place with the mask, and they're putting the mask on me and everything else. George Lucas is just talking casually with Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau about the history of the Mandalorian. So then Filoni's coming in, and then you have you've got the legend of Carl Weathers coming in. It was obviously an amazingly like surreal experience, but at the same time, it was the business person that started churning in my head to where I've had shows that one of my idols was Chaz Palminteri. And when it's not about you, even that show I was guest starring on, it was called Dr. Vegas in 2004 with Rob Lowe and Joe Pantoliano. Shows get canceled all the time. And I remember having a big investment with that show because I was playing a pit boss, perfect Italian mob, right up my alley. Yes, right at prime time. And things get canceled left and right. So as much as I was excited to enjoy the process, I can't tell you the adrenaline rush I got staring down Mando. If you see that one picture of me and Brendan Wayne, I mean, literally, I was lined up with him. And at that time, I thought it was Boba, which was one of my favorite figures. So right. I was freaking out in that regard. But at the same time, I could never rest even until the show aired, because you never know when it's not about you, when you're a secondary character, even as my co-stars and guest stars, you don't know if you're going to get cut or not. And I just realized the potential that this character had, how beautiful he was as a Star Wars bounty hunter, to try and get as much of that screen time as possible. But also, you know, at that level, this is not an independent film to where you can shove yourself into the camera. They tell you jump, you say how high. So it was just that battle scene in episode 3, the standoff in Navarro. I was just holding my breath, and there was one shot they didn't get, but I had this beautiful artist. I've been touring with this one poster recreated for me, to where Mando and I kind of had another back and forth with the blasters before he blew us all back. You can see it with the fire, the flamethrower there. So it was excitement, but also from the business perspective, and also the excitement as a Star Wars fan. If you get that far, you want to be established, you know, and that was the thing for me. And I owe so much to Deborah Chow, because they canceled 20 of the characters in the Cantina before the standoff, and they had me flanking Carl which to me, story-wise, I think he makes him a prominent member of the guild. But again, this is all up to Disney and Lucasfilm, and all we could do is just show them how much the fans have been so excited for this character here.
Isn't Gekko? Isn't he a complete new species and character to the universe? Period.
Without question, yeah. Brian Sipe, who headed up Drax, David Bautista for Guardians of the Galaxy, was in Atlanta for quite some time working on Guardians of the Galaxy and heading up David there. He did a Greenpeace project where it was a Gekko-like model. She was about 110 pounds. You can see some of the pictures on Lair of the Gekko, or if you Google it online. But they were originally bumps. And when I had the screen test on day one, I wasn't trying to throw any weight around at all, but they were bumps. And I know you guys have all seen Little Nicky. I was just worried that it was going to be Kevin Nealon with the boobs on his head, and the last thing I want to do would be like that thing where gets in Star Wars, has boobs on his head, and it's like all of a sudden it's the first freaking meme in the world. Everybody's making fun of you. So I go over to Brian gently, because I even heard, like, one of the bounty hunters, he was kind of East Coast. He was just like snickering because they had me do a reveal during the screen test. They had a moisture farm backdrop. It was right next to the LED screen, and it was a moisture farm. And I did the reveal, and all of a sudden this one guy's like, and I was like, whoa, what's about? What are you laughing at? Please be honest with me. He said, dude, I'm not going to lie. He said, it looks like their boobs a little bit. So I go to Brian. I said, Brian, look, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I said, if you can, I'm 6'4". I'm the shape of Kane Hodder, who played Jason from Friday the 13th. There has never been, other than IG-88, a tall, imposing bounty hunter. Please make this motherfucker. I'm sorry. Please make this motherfucker.
No, you're good. You're good.
Fine, bro.
So, thank God, he was really quiet, and I was like, this guy's like the king. He's nominated for an Emmy for Mandalorian, and so is the costume designer. So it's like, you got to know, it's like the military. You have to know your place. And I was just so respectful, but thank God, come Monday morning, he indented them in, and they're badass horns now. So a lot of people have been, I'm not a huge He-Man follower. I mean, I love the cartoon. I love the original figures, but they've been comparing him to Stinkor. He looks a little bit like that. So you can't win. You can't freaking win. Hey, you look like an asshole still. All right, thanks so much. But no, I think he's great. I think he's got a really badass look there.
So you mentioned George Lucas, and obviously I've got to ask the question: did you get to walk up to him and like shake his hand and meet him?
Yeah. So at the A-list level, you're hired, and when you're a union actor, you're hired for that reason. You're a professional through and through. I've been on sets with Denzel Washington. You can hear a pin drop. I've been on sets with Tom Cruise. I mean, major movie stars. You have to know your lane. The good news about that is 2002, there was a charitable party event in Bel Air called Target, A Time for Heroes. And I had the privilege, he was just out on an open lawn. Everybody was chilling, a bunch of A-listers. My wife works at Paramount, and just gently patted him on the back and said, do you mind if I get a photo? We did. My wife talked about how I had Han Solo and Carbonite in our bedroom at the time. So I had the pleasure of meeting him. But when you're at that level, the reason you're hired is they say jump, you say how high. And that's it. And, they have $100 million budget on their shoulders. This is not a Comic-Con. This is not time to go to work. Same with Carl as well.
So George, you know what the great part about this is? Is that I met Dominic in person when we were at Super Fan Con, and I also met him when we were at Bits and Buttons while he was doing the store. So technically, he touched George Lucas. And by extension,
really?
Shaking his hand, I touched George Lucas. So now I have something over you.
So you think about it that way. You touched a lot. Hey, you want to do that extension. You won't want to think about what you touched.
I know, but it's George Lucas. You got to. That's like George's like epic holy grail.
I would love to meet that guy. Got a question though, because since you've been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before and those kind of sets. How is that different from the volume when you walked in on the Mandalorian set? That's very different. Oh my
God, guys, you can't breathe. I mean, I just never seen anything like it. I've got perfect 20/20 vision there. I literally was 20 feet away during the screen test. And if you go back and you look at Werner Herzog, the back of his lair, even now you just wouldn't even notice. You say, oh, they're out in the middle of Mojave Desert. They're probably shooting where they filmed Planet of the Apes. The back of his lair, that window is actually the LED screen. So it makes the depth so realistic. And then what they do is then they put the drywall, they create the practical effects on the ceiling that merges in to the LED. I always say the whole joke is if you win the $100 million lottery, we'd all like to get like a life-size Millennium Falcon in our backyard with a man cave in the back. with 13 channels with all your boys. You can go to a baseball game. You can go to the beach. I've never seen the resolution so clear in my life. I don't care what IMAX film you've ever been to. The possibilities are endless, and there is no question, just giving an assumption that it's season 2, I'm sure they're going to go to so many gorgeous worlds and really flex this thing open full muscle. The one thing that I really am excited to see is they're able to put, say, an X-Wing in the middle of it, cover you 360 degrees, almost 270 degrees and such, and create now the movement of the camera around the X-Wing as the battle is going on, say, through that LED screen. So something like that I want to see in terms of that effect, and I think it's going to look absolutely amazing. That's
awesome, man. I mean, just what I've seen on the YouTube video, and then also on the making of the Mandalorian, I was super impressed by that technology. It's crazy.
Episode 2, you think they're out in Arches National Park, Bryce Canyon out there in Utah. I mean, it just is absolutely amazing, and they're right there in Manhattan Beach Studios. Absolutely incredible.
That's awesome.
Did you by chance get to actually see in person the animatronic child or Baby Yoda?
No, so a great answer to that. So John and Dave, the beautiful thing about Star Wars in general, I mean, especially the hell with all these spoiler people, is they want to keep it fresh to everybody. If they spend $100 million on a project, that's the reason why you sign over all these NDAs. You want to keep it secret. They kept it secret from the second team. But the cool thing about that is during the standoff, he was swaddling a baby. So the whole time in my mind, I wasn't completely on board with the sequel trilogy. I thought it was going to be an amazing backstory for either Rey, Poe, or Finn because it takes place during the same timeline, which I knew. That I was informed with, that it takes place after Return of the Jedi. So I thought it was actually what I was pointing a gun at was going to be the backstory, the origin of Rey, to be honest. But no, we didn't see it. Somebody texted me after episode 1 because I was still so shaken that I didn't actually watch it right away. Mandalorian. But oh my God, $5 million baby there. It's just absolutely taking the whole world by storm. The only critique I would have is I just wish they would extend out the toy line, even to the A-list bounty hunters like Bill Burr and Clancy Brown, to where I know the fans are really hot on collecting other things besides just Mando and Baby Yoda there. So hopefully, God willing, they wink, wink, bring some of those extended characters.
Yeah, I was reading where that was.
Bro, what the hell? Come on.
I was reading where with the baby how that was like a Fort Knox type secret. Like that was only the must know people knew anything about it. It wasn't even in like the trailers before it actually came out. They were keeping such lids on that.
And rightfully so, because if you remember, there was some venom with Episode 8. There was some venom with Han Solo. I mean, obviously, nobody can replace Harrison Ford, even though half the fan base did love it. They were talking about Star Wars fatigue. Episode 9 wasn't out yet, so if you heard that there was Baby Yoda and Disney combined, you would have thought that was going to be a Muppet Baby Saturday morning cartoon, where the fan base, the toxic fan base, would have had a heart attack. And look how surprised we are in the most beautiful way. And I can't stress enough, I mean, how much Dave, John, Deborah, the entire director's team are just like us to where they get it now. They understand. John's had so many great quotes in terms of understanding the fan base as far as those who just watch it on the surface and those who watch it with passion. So I think it's just the perfect formula now, not to mention the LED screen as well.
Awesome. So Mike, otherwise known as OG Geek in the chat, our good buddy, he wants to know, did you interact with Bill Burr at all?
No. That was a whole different episode. It was just Carl and the legendary Brendan Wayne, a grandson of John Wayne, which was so priceless because here you have this sort of Western-themed space odyssey, and I'm squaring off against the grandson of one of the most famous Western actors of all time. So it was Carl and I, and it was also, I didn't see Gina, I didn't see Pedro, but Lateef Crowder, who is literally a superhero in real life. If you guys are on the Comic-Con circuit, please remember the name Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder because they are Mando, along with Pedro, of course. But it was just those two, and for those 2 weeks, that was it there.
Okay, cool.
That's cool insight there.
So we will get to some of you guys in the chat. One of my friends actually just texted me right now because he's watching the show, and I guess because we're all talking, I didn't get a chance to see his feed. Frankie Ortiz just wanted to say thank you for helping flesh out this wonderful childhood universe that he loves so much. So I'm second that too, man.
We've got a big announcement there, October 6th. I'm going to address the whole fan base. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all. And was so grateful we were able to give back through you guys as well. We raised $1,000 for the Peter Mayhew Foundation, $1,000 for Make-A-Wish, and now we head out again. We're working with Make-A-Wish Foundation and also at Atlanta Brick Company. I'll be there October 3rd. We're working with the Aflac Cancer Research Foundation through Bantha Brick. So I appreciate all you guys. More love I can give, no matter where Gekko goes. I'm always here for you guys.
Awesome.
We need a Gekko figure.
So if you follow Dominic on Instagram and you're checking through his stories and his posts, he's worked with some people that have made custom made a 3 3/4 for him. They've also made just the card itself of the old Kenner cards that are attached to the plastic, the carded figures. So he has his own image of a card for that. So it's pretty cool. He's got some really cool stuff that he brings with him when he goes on the road tour. So one of the pieces he has a brick of Beskar armor. He's got coins. He's got a bunch of really cool images. So he's got all kinds of cool stuff that he brings with him, which obviously he sells to his fan base, and he'll personalize it for you too. So George, he actually personalized the Beskar piece that I got for you. So that was I showed that Dominic, I showed that to George, and he was like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Welcome to the guild." He's like, "I feel like I'm living up to the name of the Mandalorian."
It's dope. It was awesome.
Business was like this. I mean, it was like I didn't even have to put too much elbow grease into it, just because the illustrators, the fans, the 3D printer guys. I mean, everybody just kind of came out of the woodwork, said, "Hey, do you mind if I send you this or send you that?" So just so much amazing fan art I've been bringing along with me, and thankfully, again, I'm so humbled and grateful. It's been able to support the children there this year, and especially with the whole industry down, as well as even the odd jobs. Believe it or not, I can't tell you how grateful I am. Thank you all.
Hey, on set, were you able to keep any of the props, mask or anything?
And a compliment to a lot of the fans. A gentleman recreated my blaster. I mean, literally 100% screen accurate for me. I had that tracking fob in my hand. I'll tell you, I wanted a jacket so bad. The problem is that when you're doing 16, 17-hour days, you're getting paid a lot of money. And you may not see that check, or you may not ever work again if you take anything. But I did have this Shawshank Redemption experience where, how where Morgan Freeman or Tim Robbins starts shaking out a little dirt every day out in the yard. Well, I in reverse to where I was getting down on one knee during the battle, and a lot of the black dirt, I didn't know what planet we were on at the time. A lot of black dirt started seeping into my boot. So little by little, because literally there's a costume guy in the freaking wardrobe room with you. So it's like they're watching everything. But every day I would just take a little bit of dirt. And at the time, I mean, I wish I saved some, but it was just a diehard fan who gave me just, stuff for the kids. I gave him just a vial of this black dirt from the show, but that was it. Chris Bartlett, my friend who plays Zero, or I forget the name of his bounty hunter. He also is the flute guy in episode 1. But he was able to keep a little bit more. When you're a little more of the A team, you do that. But for me, again, it was just one of those Willy Wonka things where you just have to be grateful, abide by the rules, and God willing, they'll bring you back there.
That is awesome.
Cool. That's super
awesome.
Cool.
I love some of these stories that you're telling, Dominic. They're absolutely great. They are absolutely great. You were actually telling us a story before we went live about another YouTube channel that you went on. You want to elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, look, I mean, the good news is I don't have any TMZ stories, but the question you guys asked was if there's anything off limits. I don't like to deal with politics right now. For me, it's just about, I came out here to entertain and to make people escape and make people happy. But I ended up going on to a show to where, unfortunately, it was kind of this group chat with all of us. And one of them, it wasn't even like somebody from Brazzers, or it was like some kind of one of those second tier crappy home video porn stars that they had me on with. And it's like, dude, I worked with frickin' Disney, and now the person you have me next to is some chick from Kentucky who, I don't even know who she is. And they're asking her all these porn questions and stuff. And I was just literally cringing. I'm like, frickin' Disney is watching, for Christ's sake. And I was like, guys, oh my God, the stove's burning. I gotta go. So that was my experience. But thankfully, anytime people ask me that question, I just try to get protection and say, just as long as it's nothing completely too politically incorrect, because, I mean, for crying out loud, it is Disney, and we are in the cancel culture of 2020 to where, even freaking Mel Brooks would be crucified right now.
Oh my God, you kidding? Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing how sensitive the world has become, and it's like, and you have guys like you said, like Mel Brooks, who are just absolute comedic geniuses that would be frowned upon now at this time.
Yeah, it's so hard. I know you grew up in New York too. It's so hard when you grow up in that diversity where we're all brothers and we all have dirt against each other. But if you talk to anybody outside of that circle, sometimes in the Northeast, they don't understand it. And especially now, I mean, it just would come off as completely inappropriate. But God, do I miss those days where we all hugged each other. We're all on the same football team. And we all could, being Italian, we all had dirt on our sleeve. And that was totally fine because we're all human. And we should hopefully get back to that at some point. But this cancel culture I will agree 100%, is getting a little too much.
So being the huge Yankee fan that I am, we had this conversation. So Dominic was in a movie called For the Love of the Game. It was with Kevin Costner, and Kevin Costner was a pitcher for the Detroit Tigers, but the film was basically put in Yankee Stadium. So Dominic actually got to fulfill my childhood dream and my adult dream of actually being on the field in Yankee Stadium. And I'm just so jealous because of that.
Yeah, that was amazing. Again, two dreams. That was, of course, the original dream was to be a major league pitcher. I never threw past 80 miles an hour, but 2 weeks at Yankee Stadium, that's what ended up taking me to Hollywood. Sam Raimi, who I actually wasn't familiar with at the time, there were all these goth people outside waiting for his autograph. I didn't realize his connection with Evil Dead there, of course. But, of course, the beautiful and gorgeous movie star and forever remembered Kelly Preston, who we just lost a month ago. But John C. Reilly telling fun stories about Bert Reynolds, how much of a nut he was on Boogie Nights, another legend. And of course, Costner was such a gentleman. That just a side story, that story more or less was about his life. I think it was sort of a poem to his wife in certain ways in terms of how they had their conflict and sort of his love of baseball. But the relationship between him and Kelly Preston, I think any wife would have taken Costner's deal in real life, to where, from what I understand, he just told his wife he couldn't keep his hands to himself, and he offered her $63 million, and I think she was okay with that. So, but that movie was kind of a little bit of an homage to his wife, his ex-wife there, because he loved her very much, but they just weren't seeing eye to eye in so many ways, of course, just like most of us don't.
That's awesome. I love Yankees. Get so jealous of being able to just step on the field of Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
My wife actually has specific instructions. God forbid my untimeful demise, if something were to happen to me. She used to cremate me and take me to Yankee Stadium and spread my ashes over center field.
There you go. I got to invite you once we get back up to normal here. I don't know if you're a golfer, but the Roger Maris's family. He's got 4 amazing sons, and he's from Fargo, North Dakota. And they hold up a golf charity in Fargo, North Dakota every year. And I had the privilege of going last year, where you're really up close and personal with Johnny Bench, Goose Gossage, Raleigh Fingers,
oh my God,
Tom, and then the Maris boys. But the cool thing about the Maris boys is when you look in their eyes, you can see the dad, and it is the trippiest thing ever. So we went to go visit. I went with the sons to visit his grave up there. And then I just took my son to Arlington to visit Mickey Mantle's grave. But if you're interested, just look up the Roger Maris Golf Tournament in Fargo, North Dakota, because nobody goes to Fargo. It's so intimate, and you get to hang with the Maris boys, and they're just great people up there, and not to mention Yankee legends there. I do play golf, so that is right in my wheelhouse.
I don't play golf, but I drink, so I'm there.
I'm on Chad's team.
Yeah, I don't play golf that well.
I'm on Chad's team.
We got a question in the chat. Jason, I'm just gonna say Jason because I can't pronounce that last name. He says, were you able to pick Filoni's mind with Gekko as to what species he is?
No. So first off, in terms of applause to diversity, this is the first time ever in 20 years I ever saw a first assistant director and second assistant director that were women. And those are the 2 people that I answered to, not Dave. The cool thing was that he is as cool as the other side of the pillow. I would like to believe that this tour, Disney is very strict with their product. And I would like to believe that I've been given the blessing as a second team performer to do this tour, specifically because of Dave. He knows my passion, my enthusiasm in terms of being out there with the fans. So to that, I owe him so much. I know that he knows about the character. I just think in a certain way that they're allowing me to brand the character and God willing to pick it up from there to where hopefully he'll be fleshed out. The fans have been so passionate. If you go to Wikipedia and you search Gekko, I mean, fans have said, hey, do you mind if I write this in as the planet and your species? And I was like, go right ahead. The more you can flesh them out, the better. But God willing, we're just hoping Ethan Sachs, who heads up Star Wars Bounty Hunters, an amazing comic book there, is going to continue on with the backstory. There just might be a little conflict with crossing over Mandalorian Bounty Hunters. Not that I'm a Mandalorian, but Bounty Hunters from Mandalorian to the comic. But, you know, again, the first original OG6 Bounty Hunters, they were just standing on a platform, and it took a little time for them to become legendary. So we have to be patient, but at the same time, I can go to bed at night just content knowing that I did everything I could this entire year to reach out to the fan base, to market, to brand him, to get him up to that level. And hopefully Disney at that point, and hopefully most importantly with Funko, will take him to that next level for me there.
You said you were getting back on the road touring and everything. Where's the next stop? Where are you going to be going?
Oh, thank you so much. September 13th, we're 2 hours north of Seattle. That's going to be Mount Vernon, Washington. Then we're heading down to Boise, Idaho. That will be September 17th. September 19th is Salt Lake City. September 19th is Portland. September 20th is Salt Lake City. The 24th is Pittsburgh. The 25th is going to be, the 25th is Pittsburgh. The 26th is Boston. The 27th is New York City. It's White Plains, New York. Then on October 2nd is Knoxville, Tennessee. Atlanta, Georgia on October 3rd. October 4th is Little Rock, Arkansas, and October 6th will be Wichita, Kansas. Forgive me for not knowing all the store names, but if you go to Lair of the Gekko or Instagram or Twitter, I have all the updates there. So yeah, just really excited to get out there, do some more good, and like I said, just one more last breath for Gekko before the big ocean of season 2 comes along, and we have a whole new list of A-list characters where I just don't want to compete with that and let him breathe a little bit there at that time.
Chad, you had a question?
Yeah, no, I heard you mention that some of those bounty hunters, I guess, were being adapted into the comics, correct? Now, is that currently part of Ethan Sachs' run that's right now?
Yes.
Awesome. Because I'm currently reading that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Ethan is really passionate about it. I received an email last week from Ethan who just was having a little pushback from LFL to where they're a little hesitant to bring any characters from Mandalorian over to the comic book series, but he's pushing hard, and he said he's going to get back to me as soon as he can. And if anything, Doug Chang, who's an amazing illustrator over at LFL, is also doing a Mandalorian comic book series as well. So we're hopeful in either one of the places, but right now the most immediate will be the answer from Funko, and hopefully we'll take it from there. But thankfully, again, I mean, if you go back 40 years, it took that long to finally see an IG-88 model in action. So, you know, hopefully we don't have to wait that long, but I'd like to believe again that they've got my back there.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll be looking out for it because I read it currently, and Ethan Sachs, one of my favorite writers. I love his Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man.
For listening, I mean, all the tweets and tags definitely help. Please let him know he's a great guy. He loves Gekko. So fingers crossed, like I said, that it goes through. But it's just the red tape that I think he's getting from the other end. It's not him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Gekko in comics, I'll start it.
Please, yeah, that'll be even better. The whole point was because with that, if it's not the pop, I wanted to do an exclusive variant cover to where I was going to tour with that and go ahead and give back to the stores. By the way, just for these comic book stores that are listening, you know, a lot of actors they'll have an upfront to where you have a guarantee or you need a certain appearance fee. What I've been doing is giving them 15%, especially during this time with COVID, and also just as a thank you to bring Gekko to the forefront. So just an FYI that we've been giving 15% of the sales so that when the comic book comes through or the pop, they can definitely count on that percentage again. So I appreciate everyone's support and happy to support small business too. That's how you get done in this country, doing it yourself.
So Dominic, OG Geek has another question for you. He says, Dominic, do you think Seth can make it in Hollywood?
I knew Seth would ask that question. He couldn't hesitate to ask that question. When I saw that written in there, I was like, Seth is gonna.
I know, you know, he exactly.
Listen, everybody that watches this channel knows I'm a character and a personality in itself. So to get an actual opinion.
the models are getting heavier and heavier, and even me, it's like all of a sudden I should start doing a dance with my shirt off and say, "Hey, I'm beautiful." I mean, now's a better time than ever for both women and men. Back in the '80s, I mean, you had to look like Arnold, but I mean, now they can't. So, absolutely, anyone can make it now. You just gotta hustle.
That is awesome.
Oh man! All right, man. Original trilogy, new trilogy, or this new trilogy? What's your favorite?
Trilogy. I mean,
Original
again,
trilogy.
don't get me wrong. You can pick something that's magical from every film, but really, for me, it's not necessarily the movies. It's really what the parallels are, the stories that really that resonate Star Wars, I think, so much for everybody. When you look at Episode 3, it's brother and brother. When you look at Episode 5, it's father and son. There's something for me in regards to Rey and Kylo to where it's first cousins in a way, of sort of having that conflict within family. So for me, that's what really always resonates for me. But without question, Episode 5 is, to me, one of the greatest films of all time, not to mention the original trilogy. You can take any type of a franchise, but it's just a shell if you don't have the actors. And Star Wars would be nothing without the magic of Ford, Fisher, and Hamill.
Oh wow, yeah, absolutely.
No, he
movie.
He nailed it on the head. But as a Star Wars fan, I want more. I don't care. I know like a lot of the movies get the hate, but I just like the more the better. Let's go. Take it and go forward.
But my whole thing is, I hope that Filoni, I know that Filoni and Favreau know that's what the formula is. It's not just about the pew 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 or the amazing costume that they do for everybody. It's really the depth of the psychology of it all, which I think are the
sure.
especially now, which revolve around hope, and I think that resonates to everybody.
True. Favorite character in the Star Wars movies?
Look, this is a day and age of strong women, and God bless them. But we can go back. There's a lot of emasculation now. What the hell was that Gillette commercial about? I mean, are you kidding me? We go back to strong men, and strong men are Han Solo, Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. I mean, listen, the real women enjoy strong men. I'm tired of all this BS that's going on these days. We support women. We support equality. But at the same time, we need alpha men to take care of business. It's Han Solo, and we need to see more men like him on screen ASAP.
All right.
Dominic Pace, my man. My man.
I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm not touching that.
For us real man is that the women just gravitate towards you because
I'm not touching that.
Yo, man, Han Solo is my favorite too, man. I like that. That's dope. Very cool, man.
I think Chad and I got to stay in the same corner on that.
Hey, I'll say this: Han's my wife's favorite too. So,
he's a cool dude, man. He had some.
And if I had to like be one character in Star Wars lore, it would definitely be Han. Because think about it, he dabbled a little bit on both sides, so to speak. He's a rebel in his own right. So I mean, I can't argue it at all.
Craig's asking, what would I pay to be in a Star Wars movie? Everything.
He would get a divorce to be in a Star Wars movie.
So that was actually going to be my question to Dominic. So if the Gekko character takes off, which I'm hoping it does, and he becomes like a regular on The Mandalorian, do you think that there would be any way that you can get George on the show to where
I could be the guy that you want? You could kill me, bro.
I want to get George on the show, but I want him to be like on like a planet where there's trees, and he could just be a tree and just stay like that.
Yeah. Oh man, this level. Crazy, man. I mean, it's just like I said, if you're playing on an NFL team and, even, if you're third team or second team, it's like, hey, did you talk to Nick Saban? It's like, no, I don't even know if he knows I'm on the team or not, Go up and go to work. But I just thought you were going to ask me in regards to the character. The one thing I would have liked to have seen if Gekko is established is a flawed bounty hunter. Almost a little simplistic in terms of like a Frankenstein in many ways, to where he has this sort of dark side to where he gets the job done, but it's sort of almost simplistic in certain ways with his emotions and his ways of thinking, in terms of just adding to a different depth of the character there. And something that people haven't seen. A lot of times when you have Star Wars characters, they're just cut and dry, just kind of squeaky clean with their ship, with their with their blaster and everything else. But to see almost a bounty hunter flawed in certain ways, to explore that, I think would be really, really interesting.
That is cool. That is definitely a cool perspective on that.
Yeah.
What else? We got?
Is there any connection between Gekko and Benthic? I don't know if, from Rogue One, like, or he was known as Two Tubes. I don't know because they have the the respirator type of deal.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, again, this is all up to the gods known as LFL and Disney.
Okay.
There.
All right. But there's a possibility. Okay.
There is a possibility, and again, I mean, the fact that he is a part of the guild. I mean, I think the possibilities are endless. Brian, the one thing that I thought was so great, he came to me before we started filming. He said, "You had the most amount of patience. I want to give you the most established makeup and work with Steven, who's nominated for an Emmy for costume design for episode 3 for Navarro." So, I mean, I think the sky's the limit. It's just a matter of they initially did not have any plans. And you got to imagine, I mean, even say if you're part of the Marvel universe, to literally single-handedly, I don't want to say as a no-name actor, but I'm probably a C-lister, let's be honest, to be able to motivate a mountain of Disney, it takes a lot of work. But I'm very proud what we've accomplished this year, and thanks to all the fan base. But we're hopeful, but all that stuff is really in Disney's hands at this point. And God willing, we'll see where they go. Deborah Chow is heading up Kenobi series. There is no better storyline I would love than Vader commissioning a series of bounty hunters to go after Luke, get a little ass kicking from Obi-Wan, but stay alive. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, cool.
So Hugo Cardasso, George put it up on the screen. He goes, Seth could play a distant relative of Chewbacca in season 2.
In your Star Wars collection, what's your favorite piece that you have?
I love icons. I thought icons did an amazing job with their replicas. So I have the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, and for me, I just really treasure that there. But it's the original 70, so figures as well. Just because for me, a lot of times, you talk to people, the grown men, with toys, et cetera. It sounds kind of odd, but it really, for us, what people don't understand, it's about the memories. It's about our time that we had with our mom, our time that we spent at our grandparents during the summertime, or watching television with our friends, or using our imagination before the iPads and the iPhones, et cetera. So it really is that original 70-something, and also the icons, Luke Skywalker lightsaber, because I feel like that piece is the essence of Star Wars. When you hold it, it sort of represents the entire franchise.
Which one do you have, the New Hope or the or Empire?
Yeah.
Which one?
New Hope.
New Hope. Okay, cool. That's the one I like. I'm actually making one. I'm making a custom one like that. I love that lightsaber.
Yeah. I love it. There's this one group on Facebook. It's called Star Wars Man Caves, and you love to see how everybody has it laid out. Matter of fact, there's one. It was outside of that site. To where there's a millionaire. He is unannounced who it is, but he's got a Bel Air mansion on the market for $28 million. I'll have to look up the pictures to show you guys. But he's got a whole man cave with, I mean, it literally is like a $5 million basement that's recreated like the cantina with life-size characters and these beautiful glass.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Light. Yeah, you have to take a look at it there. But
that would be a dream come true, man.
It's I caught the bug. Yeah.
Why do I got so many people hating on me? Now I got one guy in the chat saying I'd be great as a Rancor.
Oh my God,
not
that wrong.
More like a Wampa.
Oh my God. Hey, Seth, that's your friend, Seth. That's your friend over there, right? Yeah, that guy. Oh, yeah, that's your friend.
What did I ever do to anybody?
That was cold, Seth. That was cold there, George. That was cold.
Any questions in the chat? Hey, Chad, do you have a favorite Star Wars movie? Chad, do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
I have a favorite Star Wars movie. I mean, it's Empire, right? I guess that's everyone's favorite. But I do get a lot of like flack for this, so to speak. I put Rogue One up there as well, man. I thought Rogue One was to me, it's what I loved about it is it showed you, which I'm not saying you can't have Jedis, but you could have a movie because there's kind of like Gekko. There's a whole other universe outside of just like the Skywalkers and so many different species and aliens, so to speak. So I just love how Rogue One really tapped into showing new characters in a sense, but then also how it correlated to the main storyline. So
yeah. That's part of the reason why I like that Bounty Hunter comic book. I've been reading it also, and I just like that they're introducing other characters that would be awesome to see in the movies. Rather than just focusing on the Skywalker series, Skywalker lineage all the time.
But Empire, come on, it's just
yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Everything about it, from how it opens until the end, So
You want to show the movies to my kids? I'm like, you got to watch these first.
Yo, so when I met my wife, she had never seen Star Wars, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So she was trying to get to watch them like episodes 1 through. I'm like, no. You have to watch them how we all had to watch them. You got to watch 4, 5, and 6, and then we can go back and watch it that other way. That's what you want to do. But yeah, man, Empire. That's it.
Marcos has got a question. He says,
"Ask me questions. Ask him questions."
That's what I'm doing. Marcos has a question. So, as a company, Dominic, I would love to help you with Make-A-Wish. Got to give back. Thank you for helping the children. So, I guess Marcos is with the Collector Zone, Dominic, and he actually has a comics that, well, not so much a comic store. It's more of like toys, collectibles, and stuff like that. And he's in Michigan. So, maybe you two guys can link up, and he can, you can make that like one of the stops on your tour.
Absolutely. Or the other thing I've been doing, as long as it's legit, because I had some issues with Europe to where they were asking me for autographs, saying it was for a charity, and unfortunately I found out that it wasn't. But just if they can show me the website, I'm always happy to give 5 to 10 signed photos or any props and stuff for their causes there without question.
No, Mark. Well, me and George can vouch for Marcos. He's a legit.
Yeah. I didn't mean him in particular. I just meant overall. That I'm happy to do it. I just had an issue or two, but as long as that's legit, absolutely.
I got a question, Dominic. You mentioned just going to different comic book shops, and as we all know, you're a huge Star Wars guys. But do you read any comics, like anything DC, Marvel, indie, or are you into comic book reading like that? Well, awesome, beautiful.
Yeah. So you guys were so passionate in regards to talking about this Vader series. I literally every store that I went to, everybody was talking about Darth Vader. Right now, I to Tupelo, Mississippi, and Graceland. So I'm just in this Elvis sort of phase here. I got the Sun Records shirt on. So I'm reading Elvis's biography. But right after that, I'm going to be hitting the Vader series, and obviously been getting into Star Wars Bounty Hunters with the hope, obviously, we'll get a special sighting in there sooner than later.
Now, is that the Soul run or the LaRocca run? Or no, Gillian run, sorry.
These are just the, what do we got? The Burning Seas, Fortress Vader. I think it's like volumes 1 through 4. Legacy's End, Imperial Machine. But this is what was recommended to me by so much of the fan base when I was on tour. So I'm excited to check it out there.
All right. So there's 2 runs, and I think that's the more current, so to speak, the Charles Soule, and then you had Karen Gillian do volume 1. Read that as well. They're both incredible. I just want to recommend that to you.
This is Soul. Yeah.
Yeah. So read Gillian next too. Trust me.
Okay. Awesome. And then for any Bama fans, I got a little Nick Saban there just for some motivational. How to get it done. Get it done.
Craig's asking if you sought the part of Gekko, or did they call you for that role?
So again, it was just a simple makeup test, and it was from the brain and mind of Brian Sipe. And we just hit it off for 6 hours. We talked about just our love of Star Wars, but we didn't talk about the details. And again, because of, it was like an interview by just being patient. We weren't on the phone. There was no narcissism whatsoever. They want to work with somebody. Jim Carrey, no offense to him, but $250,000 a freaking day. And he's bitching because he's got to be in the makeup chair for 6 to 7 hours. You've got to be kidding me. So, for the Grinch, and for me, it's just, it's obviously like all of you would understand how much you appreciate being in the Marvel universe or being in the Star Wars universe. So he saw that I obviously would appreciate that and respected my level of patience, and that's how we got there.
Awesome, man.
So I gotta ask this question because it's just me being me as usual. Have you ever ran into an actor or some kind of director or producer that you didn't like, or they just kind of like rubbed you the wrong way, or
I was part of Tim Robbins' theater group at the Actors Gang in 2004. I had a hard time with him. He was very, this is not football. This is not, smash mouth football. This is about opening up your soul and your heart to show to people. So I felt that he was a little cold. That kind of turned me off a little bit. As far as just a little diva-ish, when I was doing Van Helsing, The vampiresses were absolutely gorgeous, as well as Kate Beckinsale, but there was no smoking whatsoever within, I guess, like even a quarter mile, because the polymers they were using to create the icicles for the Dracula's castle were highly flammable. They all freaking lit up cigarettes in the freaking bathroom. Could have blown us all to hell. Very selfish. Very freaking selfish. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're hot as hell, but don't kill me, man. I swear to God, you know? So,
That's funny.
that was it in terms of, just as far as diva-ish. I just can't, you know, again, I'm from the East Coast. I'm sure like a lot of you guys, we're just real. We're just grounded. So the only thing, I mean, I've had a few situations to where people, you know, an actress or whatever will be a little more diva-ish in terms of holding up the time of the set. And for me, that bothers me because it's disrespect to everyone on set. So it's just that overall attitude. But thankfully, the good news is guys like Hugh Jackman, Will Smith, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you got to get lucky. You got to, you know, find your break. Those guys are there, and you see why they're there for a reason. It's hard work, amazingly, just incredible positive attitude, even on the 15th and 16th hour. So in terms of just negative, I just want to point those two guys out in terms of being absolutely incredible in terms of human beings and their work ethic as well.
Yeah, George. That's good.
Ask about Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that was good for George to hear because George is a huge Hugh Jackman guy.
Yeah.
So
that was my next question. Van Helsing, I was like, hey, did you hang out with Hugh Jackman?
Oh, no, I became really good friends with Wolfman. We actually did a movie together. I highly recommend it, actually. It's a pretty good, I don't want to say low budget, but it's not one of the, you know, $70 million films, but it's called The Midnight Man. And it stars Will Kemp, who played Wolfman from Van Helsing. Myself, William Forsythe, Doug Jones, who's a legendary prosthetic guy, probably him and Andy Serkis, there should be a separate Oscar category for. Max Adler from Glee, and also Brent Spiner from Star Trek fame. It's called The Midnight Man. It's on Amazon, but yeah, if you get a chance. And yeah, but just Hugh Jackman being around him for 2 months, the energy, I mean, again, you just have to fold. A lot of times you say, oh, well, you know, I'm the best I can be. No, those guys, I mean, even The Rock, if you follow The Rock, it's like they get up at 3 a.m. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I got my 20 minutes in. I got my, you know, you got your Subway sandwich. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm probably not 100%, but that's okay, you know, but those guys are.
Is there anything that you can talk about that you have in the works now that we should, you know, kind of look out for?
Did we lose
Without question, the timing could not be more perfect. 4 years ago, African-American writer-director from my neck of the woods. He served.
You lost them.
Oh, man.
Dominic, no!
No.
I want to do the Vader yell. No!
We barely knew you, Dominic. Come back.
Oh goodness! So somebody asked what my favorite Star Wars movies was. I can't separate the original 3 from each other. I loved all of those movies, and I got to see each one of them in the theater, and I had that same excitement like the current generation has. Like, well, I can't wait till this next movie comes out. But those are my favorite. I can't separate the 3.
So Dominic, so going back to that question, do you have anything up and coming in the works that you could talk about?
Yeah, forgive me. It's just a little bit of a technical difficulty.
And I think we might lose him again.
Yeah, we lost him again.
It might be the signal over there.
Dominic, turn on your Wi-Fi.
Did he say he was in Tupelo, Mississippi, right?
Yeah. So he's actually got, I think if this is what he's talking about, he was actually telling me and Mike about this when we were hanging out. He was in the process of shooting like a movie 4 years ago that kind of like almost like stopped production. I forgot what the reason was, but now now they picked it back up. They finished it, and I think it's being released on Amazon. And he's actually supposed to be like a hitman in this movie. So I could totally picture him being a hitman. I mean, if you see him in person and stand next to him, he's a big freaking dude.
I've seen some clips from some of the other movies he's been in and TV shows. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Trying to see if it comes back on.
It's so hard to say goodbye to Dominic Pace. Yeah.
This is a good show, though, man.
Yeah, man. Disney was watching that, man, and they just cut our feed. That's what happened.
Oh, he sent the photo to me. Hold on a second.
It says no secrets.
Nope, he's trying
there,
to.
There he goes. The name of the movie is going to be called Anonymous Killers.
Okay.
So, and it's supposed he's okay. There he is.
Got it all worked out?
Can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry. It's some kind of technical glitch here.
No problem.
Yeah, so yeah, it's called Anonymous Killers, and it's about 5 killers that come through all different walks of life. But really, ultimately, what it's going to focus on is the big debate right now, which is about the word privilege. You hear that often. If you were to ask any given human being right now in the United States or across, overseas, they would have a different opinion on it. You can argue, say, hey, well, privilege is earned. Some people would say, well, you're born into privilege. And others might say, there's a situation to where you can't get to that point in life. There's nothing you can do if you come from a certain background or a certain standing. It's going to really focus on that. The only thing I'd ask the audience to do is don't write it off as a Saw when you watch the trailer. It's a lot deeper than that. So Anonymous
when does it drop?
Coming to, on demand on October 6th. And thanks so much. I appreciate everyone tuning in. It's going to be an intense one and probably the best script I've ever been a part of.
All right. I'll definitely check it out. Richard Melendez asked the question. He said, what other franchise opportunities would you like to be a part of? Warner Brothers, DC movies, MCU movies?
If you Google Lex Luthor, Dominic Pace, you have to be ambitious in this. If you have to be ambitious in this town. I mean, even like I said, no matter where you're coming from, you've got to believe in yourself. And I did a pretty heavy campaign before they picked Eisenberg there, and my name was thrown around, and it's great. A lot of the comic book sites were throwing my name around with some of the big heavy hitters. So I would love to play Lex at some point. I think that would be pretty intense.
I think you would have made a better Lex.
Yeah. You just took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh my God, that was like the biggest disappointment seeing that guy play that role. I was just like, no way.
Yeah, they went a whole different way with that sort of wiry and young and such. No, I think he's got to have stature, whether it's me or not, even if it's a Ray Fiennes or Daniel Day-Lewis or Bryan Cranston. But I think that, it needs to have more of a strong presence, a strong alpha presence there.
Definitely.
Well, like I was saying, while obviously while we were having technical difficulties, I said that, I was like, when I met you in person, I mean, you're a big dude. I mean, you're built. So I mean, it's like, you definitely have that hitman, strong guy, opposing will kind of feel to you. But in reality, you're just like a giant teddy bear.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you say that because my grandfather, about 10 years ago, I had an audition for the series premiere of Rizzoli and Isles, and I went in. It was a security guard that was about to shake down a prisoner and be a little corrupt with him there, and. It's hard because when the cast directors ask how you're doing, what am I supposed to do? Just be some badass, But that's the whole point of acting. In that, you turn it on, and that's what I do is I turn it on. But that audition in particular, she said, you're coming off a little kind, and I said, just give me 1 second, and we ended up getting the part. But yeah, I mean, thank you. That's the whole point of acting, to where it's not apologetic. But in real life, yeah, I mean, I'm a mama's boy. What can I tell you?
No, I mean, honestly, I've had the opportunity to cross.
Lost him again.
Oh man, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, I am your Messiah. I'm begging you to fix the difficulties.
Hey man, we're the Geek Show. We should be able to fix this, right?
I know, right?
There we go. He's back.
Right.
Can you see me, guys?
So like. Yeah.
We see him.
So like I was telling George and Calvin and everybody, like, being able to speak with you and meet you in person. I mean, I've met people from all walks of life in my lifetime, different types of celebrities, athletes and everything. And I honestly got to say, I'm not just saying this because you're on the show. You were probably like the most humble and nicest person I've ever met.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, the great thing is being in the workplace, like so many of you, when you wait tables and you manage restaurants and you deal with Karens and Kens for so many years, you realize, look, this is just a job, and you humble yourself. It's like, listen, I mean, I think what would do the world a ton of good is if we can all switch occupations for a little bit, including
Tell
police
me about
officers.
it.
Check it out and walk a mile in somebody else's shoes. And when you do
Absolutely.
that, I think it gives you a different perspective to just be grounded and really appreciate, like I said, what you have. And again, like I said, in that New York upbringing, which really bothers me now in terms of today's social climate, is that you got nothing and liked it. The world didn't know you a damn thing. And we all came together in terms of as one. And the only way that you made it on that football field is if you bust your ass and you work hard. And it's the same mentality in life, but they kept you really grounded. You were not special in any way. And that's the kind of the mentality I've been taking through life. And it's allowed me to make very strong friendships with people alike.
Lost it for a second. I don't know if I still hear him or not. All right.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you. I hear you now. Any more questions from the chat? You guys got any more questions?
You guys got any more questions, or we good? Seth would have to be a Wookiee, no? You're Lex Luthor, and Seth is Doomsday.
Frank said you're an Ewok.
Yeah, I'm an Ewok.
One question that was in the chat was, because you said you would play Lex Luthor in a DC. You got a character that you would play in Marvel?
Oh man, you got me. I'll tell you, in a perfect world with everything going on now, I mean, the one thing that's going to be in reality is doing a lot of the crime dramas. But I really want Gekko to sort of catch on, because the one beautiful thing with Star Wars, it just goes back to simply entertaining people, which is the whole reason I got involved in this business. So God willing, Gekko will hopefully find his life, because as
yeah, that connection over there.
Yeah, that's a rough connection.
That is a bad connection.
Mississippi ran out of Wi-Fi, it looks like.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
The Wi-Fi.
Well, it's a great picture to have him. Oh, all right.
from my end,
Yeah, I have to change that.
Sorry.
No, it's not. It's all
okay.
good, Dominic. We understand. It's all good.
We'll wind it down now. Thank you for joining us on the show, man. It was awesome meeting you.
It was a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure.
This was incredible. Never mind.
Well, he can see it afterwards, man.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. Absolutely.
It was an honor for me to be on a panel with you, and you were like 5 feet away from George Lucas.
Get him.
So.
There. Did he pop back in again?
It's those 6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Me and George are in the same boat right there. Like,
I know, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
He popped back in, but the screen's not coming up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he goes. Hey, Dom, you can hear us? Yeah. Yeah, the connection is not there, man.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. We're going to close it down now. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us on this episode of That Geek Show. This was fun. I had a great time, man. Star Wars night, finally.
Hey, and we had a sizable crowd too, man.
Yeah, it was good, man. 105 people up in the chat. It was awesome. Hope you all had a good time.
So yeah, guys, we'll leave the link in the description below to Dominic's Instagram and
Absolutely.
also his website, so you guys can go check everything out. If you guys live in any of those areas that he mentioned, you can definitely go find out the tour that he's going to be on and everything like that. Again, if you guys live in any of those areas, I highly recommend going out and meeting him. And he is just such a super awesome guy. And I always like being able to meet people from where I'm from New York, because like he's saying, we are the same type of breed of people, and and I think that's why I connect with him so well. But
the other type of breed of people, huh?
He actually just messaged me. He goes, I gotta run. He goes, it keeps kicking me out, but thank you everyone for being here and supporting him. So guys, thank you again. We'll leave the links in the description below so you can go follow him on Instagram. Also check out his website. And yeah.
Pretty excited about the suggestion with Collector Zone and the work that he's doing, because I've been listening to some podcasts that Marcos has done and some of the incredible charity work that he does, and I think that would be a great partnership.
Definitely. My bad. I'm reading the chats.
Yeah.
So
This guy's
what do we got? You got something special dropping tomorrow morning, don't you, Jorgito?
Yeah, man, just another Nerdgasm episode. You guys can watch. Be up in the morning, and you got Seth's wrestling recap.
We got weekly wrestling recap happening tomorrow night.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts on SummerSlam.
Yo, listen, dude. So honestly, I did at the end of last week's show, I did like a prediction thing of like who I thought was going to win. Out of all the predictions I made, I only got one wrong. I thought that was pretty good, and it's funny because the one that I got wrong was I thought MVP was going to beat Apollo Crews. That was the only one I got wrong.
And MVP should have beaten Apollo Crews, right? Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. But that's the life we live when it comes to wrestling and storytelling. Wrestling's real to me, damn it.
Yeah, it's real life. It's real life. I'm with you, Seth. I'm with you.
But yeah, 8 p.m.
It's at 8 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Last week was not a very good week for me to start that because I was going up against AEW and NXT at the same time.
For somebody that doesn't watch wrestling, and I was able to sit through your show, bro, and it was entertaining, bro.
You got to host timeout. Look at half-fast review the comedy made. I love it.
Nerdgasm already happened tonight. George is going to go smoke a cigarette.
The instigator in the chat, bro. I'm going to make Craig a regular. I'm going to tell him, part of your weekly duties is to come on the Geek Show and just start shit up.
You get Craig a wrench.
But we're sitting on little over 19.2 thousand subscribers now. We're getting real close to the 20,000 subscriber milestone.
It's amazing.
And we got some super big giveaways coming up. So get us to 20,000 subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, please do so because that's the big plan for you guys. I hope you all have a good weekend.
So does 20K mean that instead of taking my top off, I just do like a full striptease?
No,
yes.
Absolutely not.
Before we get out of here, guys, 90 Miles from Comics is back Tuesday nights. We got the crew back together. Right. We've been reading. We got caught up on Thor. We got caught up on Venom. I'm not going to spoil anything here for you guys, but if you guys want to know what's happening in the comic book world, check me out next Tuesday, 9 o'clock. We'll be talking 3 Jokers, some more Venom, some more Thor, because I got a speculation and theories going on.
I'm reading Thor now, man.
Oh, nice. Let me know when you're caught up. Let me know when you're caught up.
All right. You got anything, Calvin? Coming
up? Oh, man. Yeah, I got a couple of things. The Mandalorian, the bust. I'm going to do that too. I saw you did yours. And I've got
that's awesome.
No, I can't wait to see it. I didn't even know. I got it from Marcos, and I haven't even opened it yet. But I can't wait to see it because your review of it, man, I loved what I saw. It looked amazing.
Did you get it you got it from the Collector's Zone? Did you use the code MC at checkout to get your 5% off?
Sometimes I forget to do that. I just bought 2 things from there, and I forgot to use that. I just pay regular price. I got that, and then I got I told you about the Venom soft vinyl, right? I finished that video last night, so I'm gonna put that one up.
Cool. Nice. I want to see that one. I want to see a different perspective on that one.
Yeah, got a different perspective.
All right. So that's what you got coming up from all of us this week. Guys, have a real good weekend. Stay safe. Do all that good stuff.
Can I sing people off? They're asking in the chat.
Oh my God. Just do it. Go. Fuck.
George, come on, man. You gotta give the people what they want.
Sing.
I'm gonna finish my drink.
Sing,
monkey, sing.
Dance, monkey, dance. It's so hard to say goodbye to all you in the chat. Yeah.
All right, later, guys.
YouTube is 90.
Good at it.